Thanks for joining us for 5 on 5. I'm Joe Sullivan, pleased to be joined today by Val Hoyle, Congresswoman from the 4th Congressional District, up for re-election. Val, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here today.
Now, the first question right off the bat, why should voters in the 4th District send you back to Washington, D.C.?
So this is a district that encompasses the entire spectrum of the political map. So, we've got Curry, Coos, and Douglas County, which are more conservative. We have Lane, Benton, and Lincoln County that are more progressive. But the district was drawn, so it goes from the California border all the way up to the top of Lincoln County to be a coastal focused district. And so that's what we've focused on. I'm not the person that you're going to see, on TikTok or, I'm not the shiny one, but I have been remarkably effective in these 2 years, whether it's working on wildfire issues, workers support, tribal issues, and really supporting our coastal economy, the commercial fishermen and our ports and docks, and certainly bringing home money for the Coos Bay intermodal port project, which will bring 8,000 jobs to our community. I think I've been I have been the most effective freshman in the Pacific Northwest in terms of passing bills. So I look at the entire district when I go to DC, and I'd love to earn people's support because I've been effective, and I'm hopeful that I can do that again.
Your Republican opponent has not been shy about her thoughts on you. In fact, she said you are a career politician and you don't represent the interest of Oregonians. How do you respond to that?
Well, I did have a career. I put myself through school working a union job. I was a third-generation union member. And then I had a 25-year private sector career in retail sales, management, manufacturing, distribution, and international trade. My background in international trade and chair of the Export Council of Oregon, which is the federal advisory board for small businesses on international trade, gives me a unique perspective. It gave me a unique perspective when I was in the legislature and as labor commissioner, because I understood business and I understood labor. My private sector experience has informed my ability to do this job. It has informed me in Congress because, one, I know the legislative process, right? I don't know any other job where someone would say, we'd really like someone who's unqualified and doesn't understand how things work. I do understand the process, but I had a 25-year career in the private sector, and I got into public service to make sure my kids had better schools. So I've always worked for my community, and this is a campaign, right? Her job is to say things that make people feel like I shouldn't be reelected. And the fact of the matter, the things that she said just aren't catching because people know me. I've worked in this district for a very long time, again, both in the private sector and in public service. And I'm just really honored by the support I've received across the political spectrum, because you can't win this district with just Democrats or just Republicans. And what I've been campaigning on is what I've done, what I can do, and what she's been campaigning on is just attacking me. And, that's a strategy for sure.
Border security is such a big issue. Do you think Congress has done enough for our national security?
No. The fact of the matter is we have a bipartisan bill that is sitting in the House. It's called the Dignity Act, and I have signed on to that. What it does is it funds border security, which is critical. I've been down to the border. I have talked to Border Patrol agents. They do not have the equipment. They're working with 10-year-old equipment while cartels are bringing fentanyl over with the newest, latest, and greatest. And the fact of the matter is the fentanyl coming across the border is predominantly, and this is again told to us by Border Patrol, from people who legally can come over. So the other thing is we need to update our broken immigration system, and that's what this bill does. But we can't get it brought to the floor by Speaker Mike Johnson. We also had the most comprehensive border security bill that funded border security, that actually invested in judges so we could adjudicate whether or not people qualify for asylum or anything else. That was in the Senate. James Langford from Oklahoma, one of the most conservative senators in the Senate, put this together, and Donald Trump called and said, don't pass that because it'd be good for Joe Biden. I think that we should be doing what's good for America, regardless of the political consequences. And that's why I've signed on to that bill. And I am committed to working on this, not as a political issue, but with actual solutions.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and be back with part 2 of our 5 on 5. Welcome back to part 2 of our 5 on 5 with Congresswoman Val Hoyle from the 4th Congressional District. Now, you don't think your opponent Monique Despain can be trusted to protect women's access to reproductive medical care. Why do you think that?
Well, number one, she has said she would not vote to reinstitute national protections that we had under Roe versus Wade. 44% of American women in this country do not have access to safe legal abortions, or even in some places, birth control. So that's number one. Number two, she signed a pledge to become the Constitution Party candidate that said she would protect life from the moment of conception to a natural death. She signed a pledge. She is a lawyer. She's been in the military. She knows what that means. And so either she's lying to them when she put her name on the bottom line, or she's lying now. I don't know which, but either way, she can't be trusted.
30-second answer here. Do you think the United States should continue to spend millions of dollars to support Ukraine since Congress controls the money?
I do. I think that we are part of NATO, and Ukraine, is a sovereign nation. And what Russia is doing, they won't stop at Ukraine. We've seen this before. We saw it, we saw it with Germany, right? And so, yes, I think we should continue to support Ukraine and be a partner to the other NATO countries.
We have about 30 seconds left. Is there something you'd like to touch upon that we haven't already talked about?
It's been my greatest honor to represent this district. I get to come home here every single day, and I would love to have the honor of representing this district again. And when I go to DC, I fight for Oregon and the people here, and I'd love to continue to do that. And thank you for your time.
Congresswoman Val Hoyle, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more local news.